first day after, or not first day, but first video after engine's been pulled. So I have that here beside me. So what is going on is I'm going to be doing the ABS module relocation today. So for that, I went to Canadian Tire, got some pre-made brake line, nickel, copper, and then stainless steel, or whatever that is. Got some copper brake line I just had lying around, or nickel, sorry. This is the ABS module bracket that I took apart. These are the couplers that I got from Canadian Tire. And, well, if I need little end bits, I can just take them all off of these. Little Mac Tools flaring kit. And this is the hood latch cable that my buddy just changed. It's there. So what we have going on here, I just took off ABS module. So all the lines there are labeled sort of 7, 6. So just letting it drip out for now. That module is bad, so I'm waiting on another one, but I will use that for mock-up reference because I plan to have it sitting somewhere here. Because those all the lines you can see, I've labeled them from there. Sit down in my engine bay. And then all the lines run along here. Have them labeled. What does this do? There we go. So those are all the lines labeled coming out there. This is previous owner. As you can see, this engine's not the first time it's been out. So I'm gonna clean it up here. I put the fuse relay, just let it hang down here. I'm gonna have to mock up the bracket somehow with this and then figure out where I'm gonna be cutting these lines off, putting the little junctions. And yeah, so stay tuned. That's where I'm at right now with it, and we'll do updates as we go. So for this bracket, this is attached to the bracket. Right here there was 3 little spot welds which you could really barely see, and a lot of people on YouTube are literally just taking these things and just cutting them along the lines and just hammering this flat. And same with this. Like, it's not that hard to grab a drill bit and a drill, just drill out the spot welds, and then kind of hard to see, but literally you just wiggle it and it's already splitting from the spot welds. So one-handed, try and use gravity. Okay, it's not a one-handed job, but you get the point. I just drilled out those 2 and it's already splitting. Just gonna use a little hammer to tap the last one there. So there we go, now we're back after a few love taps with the hammer. That's where we are. There we go. Nice, clean separation. If I need to reuse this bracket in a different form, different shape, you literally just tack it back on. That's how it's done. Removing OEM brackets, they're spot welded, just drill them out. And now I have this bracket which just holds the ABS pump. Most likely I'm going to have to get rid of these little spot welds on the bottom. And then I can hopefully start fabbing up a location to place the ABS pump. Once I secure this, put the pump on, then I will start cutting and routing lines. So here we are. This first bracket's off. I drilled this one out. There we go. Spot welds are drilled out again. So now we have a flat mounting surface for this bracket. Both mounts go into here. This is where the little electric pump sits. So, and the clip faces towards the driver's side. So now that we have a flat surface to work with, I can start mocking up. There you go. It actually sits pretty naturally. So just gonna try and mock it up somewhere where the pump will sit comfortably. Good mounting as well. It's not bad actually. Two bolts through the surface there. That actually might work. So stay tuned. This is where the R&D is gonna happen, figure out best placement, and then go from there. So this is where I'm at right now. ABS module used to be here, as you can see all the plugs. Now I have moved it to where the battery tray was, right here. I tried riveting, as you can see. I tried rivets, they wouldn't hold. I tried doing a pop nut insert, those like threaded inserts. That didn't work because this metal is too thin and it wouldn't take it. So I used an existing hole. That further hole is an existing hole already, and then the other one I just kind of drilled through. What I'm planning on doing is I'm probably going to tack up the nut to the actual inner fender wall there on both sides, and then grind down the bolts as much as I can and kind of make a makeshift pop rivet, pop nut, whatever you call them. But so all I have left now is cut up all these lines, maybe from here. Who knows where I'll go. I have them all marked out, so I'm thinking most likely just a little bit past the bend and then bend them up and flare them, and that way I have a room if I mess up to go for more. And ideally I want to start here, depending how bad it goes. I have all the way up to here of straight line, so should be good. And all this black stuff, for everyone wondering, was like here, perfect example. Whoop. This green is the actual brake line, and then this black is a rubber insulation for it. I would say like a heat or just an insulator overall for the brake lines. So I'm gonna have to take a razor blade once I cut them, snip it, and then kind of hopefully like open it up and take it off like a wrapper so I can get to the original metal. So that's where we are now. Move the harness for the my other problem is going to be is how am I going to plug it in? Because this holds the headlights. I'm going to have to be extending the harness quite a bit. Not going to be extending this. Definitely going to be extending the little plugs, because they're honestly comparing a full connector like this to 2-pin connectors. Level of difficulty is night and day, and I don't want to get into that. So this is where we sit now. So I have everything draining right now. But where we are right now, oh, it's so comfortable sitting in the engine bay. It's actually scary how comfortable it is. So I have this harness held up with a bungee cord right now. I have the front right brake already pretty much on using the stock line. I didn't even bend it. Like I just bent it. I didn't even cut it or flare it or anything. So, because this one literally goes right down here. So I'm gonna leave this one here right now with the OE line because it just works. I will be snipping it and making it much shorter, but in the meantime I want to run the remaining ports 3, 2, 1, 5, and then 6 the way I have it labeled. So what I mean, like 6, sorry, this is a plug, 3, this is 5, that's 6. So that's how it's going right now. This is making quite a drippy mess everywhere, but this is fully mounted, so it's not going anywhere, which is awesome. It didn't take as long as I actually assumed it would. And then, so the problem with, I was gonna say I was gonna extend these connectors, but I figured out this is as you can see, is a separate harness. So I'm splitting the whole harness here, whole main harness up to around here. My plan is, well, I hope, is I'm gonna separate this, bring all the wiring out to here, and then retape the whole harness. But with this lead not being this long, it's gonna be, well, it's gonna gain about 1.5 feet of length. So that way this can all sit where it was, and then this will just wrap back up around, assuming it's freed from here. It's gonna be coming out here. So therefore I have tons of room of routing and doing whatever I need, and then I could just tape it down along this harness to compensate for the extra. So that's the plan. Get everything rough fitted now, and the wiring set, because that's gonna be permanent. And then this is gonna be on 2 bolts, so if I ever wanna pull it, I'm not sure yet. We'll see if I'm gonna be doing a delete later down the road, but for now, I need to get this room in the engine bay and get all these lines away from the turbo side. So, spit my tongue. But that's where we sit for today, or I mean, as of right now. So this is where I'm at. I managed to split the harness. This is where the plugs used to come out of. So I went ahead and split it open. Take these tabs off and leave them off. Tape up the whole harness, and then once you have the fitting of where the harness is going to go, then reattach these clips, because they clip into right here. And you want that because it holds your harness and it looks a lot cleaner, and finding these are just not fun. So as I hoped, the harness went from being in here to coming out to right here. So I carefully split up open everything. It's a lot of wires, because if I was to extend those, well, it would be silly to. That's a lot of possibilities of messing stuff up. But this is where I have it now. I'm going to close up the whole harness, tape everything up, and then this will pretty much look OE again, and we'll go from there. So this is where I'm at now. So I've got this original harness all taped up. So it looks pretty good. So this is the how much additional length I've gained on the original module plug. So now I can comfortably wrap it around, plug it in back there. I will deal with the routing sooner than later. I gotta probably route this back over onto this side here, put it down here. So yeah, it's slowly coming together. So that's where I'm at now. Now I'm going to continue doing the lines. Well, I'm going to tuck away the electrical first, figure that out, the routing, and then go to lines. So I ended up taping down this harness down here so it stays flat. Followed along down here, taped it down here. Had to take out the whole module and unscrew the line again. But now I have it routed perfectly, so that way when it's going to be sitting here, this will plug. So this is as far as we've gotten today. So as you can take a look here, as you can see, the harness has been split from the connector, taped it all up, so that's all plugged in there. So the connection is all plugged in. So then, moving over to the brake line setup, got everything labeled here. Things are a little bit out of place, as you can see, because of I'm going to secure everything down first, all the holders. Tried on securing that one, didn't work too well. So I'm going to cut all the lines, secure everything in first, and then I'm going to flare the lines. And this one kind of just connects over there. I disconnected it, but so as you see, I already have pre-made lines all here, cut, ready to go. I bought these at the store. I just got to put one more into there, but I think I could just reuse that, snip a line, reflare it, and then just bring it down and in. So this is already hooked up. This is the main feed in from the brake booster. So that goes into there. What I'm going to do with these is I'm going to bend each one like so, pretty much all the way down, and then wherever they line up here, theoretically, my thinking is like they're going to line up here, and then right around here, make the cut, flare it, well, take this trim off, flare it, put a connection on it, put here, just so you understand what I'm doing, how brake lines work. So I'm going to cut it there. This line already has one fitting here, so with that fitting there, just going to take this out. So pretty much this fitting screws into here, and then the other end, which is going to be, once you cut the line, you're going to flare it, and you're going to put this little end piece on it. This end piece, and then this end piece screws into here. So therefore, it goes from here, goes from there into here, and then that is our junction, our union fitting for the new brake lines with the existing. You just have to make these little flares, is what they're called. Well, can't show it, it's not working too well. There you go. It's like a little flare that seals up. So that's where we've gotten to today. Just gonna button everything up, and the next time we do this, it's just gonna be pretty straightforward. Just snip, 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 flare them, connect them, and we've got ABS relocated. And then we're one step closer. Then I got to do throttle cable, which is right here. Replace the throttle cable, and then fuel return line, which I have to make, which is right here. That's the fuel in, and I'm gonna have to make a fuel return running this way as well. And then it's ready for the motor. But the biggest step here is the brake flaring. The Chase Base sells a kit for this. It's around $400 USD. By the time we get it shipped in here, duties, everything, you're looking at like $600-700 sometimes. So it's quite absurd being in Canada and doing all this stuff. America has everything, free shipping to 48 states. Us Canadians, we're not that lucky. This is what we deal with. So part one is done.